Howdy, howdy, howdy. A good Monday evening to all of y'all. The first Monday in November. You know what happens at the end of November, right? Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then the New Year's. I cannot believe we're almost through with 2022. Seems like it just started. I feel like I'm still trying to recover my 2020 years from COVID and all that we lost. But good Monday to y'all. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. I guess by virtue of the fact that y'all are out here on time and everything else means that you must have remembered to set your clocks back. Spring forward, fall back. Moved your clocks back an hour. I guess otherwise y'all would have been out here waiting for the last hour. And if you've done that and you're still here, well, thank you. I especially appreciate that. But now it is so dark here in Houston now that we've changed the hour and all that. I don't know why they got away from doing it over Halloween. It's so much easier to do trick or treating when it's already dark outside. But whatever. They didn't ask me. Welcome to all of y'all. Let me start off with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV fans, especially love you guys out here. Thank you so much for the support. I'll start just as I often do. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And while you're out there, you can turn your notifications on and you can hit that little thumb up thing. I guess thumbs up is still a thing, right? Elon Musk is changing everything with Twitter, but as far as I know, YouTube, same old, same old. So go out there and do all of that. If you hit the notifications, then you'll also get notifications when I drop my recaps of Survivor, recaps of the challenge, and whatever else I do on down the road. I gotta say, little busy last Wednesday night. I was watching Survivor, taking notes on that for my recap. I was watching the challenge, taking notes on that, and watching, I don't know, a little baseball going on. Yeah, I won't talk the whole hour about it, but I had to do a little bit of bragging, so we'll talk about it in a second. Before I do that, I just want to see who all's out there. I want just quick shout out to my friends out there because I saw some of y'all already sitting out here. Amanda Lowe, I'm looking forward to this as well. Welcome, Amanda. Welcome, Karen. Welcome, Marilyn Sutherland. Brian, how are you doing, sir? Michelle Moore. Jake, the horror movie geek. How are you doing, Jake? Kiki. Yeah, you made it on time. Welcome aboard, Kiki. Ma, sorry you're feeling badly. Feeling a little sickly, Ma. There's a lot of that going around. Jeez, there's a lot of that going around. So I hope you're feeling better. Mark Taylor. Hi, Mark. How are you? Cindy, hi, Cliff. Hi, Cindy. How are you doing? I was just reading your comments. Hope you're doing fantastic. And Jenny Gazafi. I hope I pronounced that right. Jenny, welcome aboard as well. Andy W. I wasn't going to leave you out. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Ma, I know you're feeling bad. My Aggies. Now, my Astros did pretty good this weekend. My Aggies playing football, not so much. They had half the team out with the flu. There's a lot of people at work and elsewhere that are sick. So y'all stay. COVID's bad, but flus are bad as well. We can't forget about that stuff. So I don't know. Wash your hands. Don't try to avoid people coughing in your faces, things like that. Yeah, it's just that time of year. So yeah, welcome back. Now I mentioned my Aggies didn't do so well, but my Astros did a little bit better. All right, I got to brag a little bit. Here you go, guys. World Series champions, the Houston Astros. Yes, my Houston Astros did it. Now, let me start right off by saying that as Moss said, I just annoyed every Phillies fan out there. I probably annoyed Yankees fans and a whole lot of other people as well. I'm not going to talk about it all night, but I did have to bring it up. I've been a baseball fan forever, but growing up, I followed the Texas Rangers because I grew up in Arlington, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. I followed the Texas Rangers, and they never won anything. They never even made the playoffs. Every single year, I would follow those guys. I went to a lot of games because I worked at Six Flags over Texas, and right next door to Six Flags, literally walking distance, was the stadium for baseball for the Rangers. And I had a lot of high school buddies who worked. Everyone where I grew up either worked at Six Flags or they worked at Ranger Stadium. So I had a lot of friends at Ranger Stadium. We would go over there and sit in the outfield, pay like $1.50 and sit in the outfield and watch games. So I grew up a Rangers fan, never had any success whatsoever. So yeah, it's kind of nice to be cheering for a team that was what an exciting series. It's fantastic. They had a huge parade here in Houston today to celebrate the World Series win. At one point, I heard at least 1 million people, and I'm hearing some people saying it could be 1.5 million or so. Just completely filled up downtown. I thought about going, but one, I've got to work. Two, as Ma is evidence, there's a lot of stuff going around, and I don't know. I just wasn't sure I was really in the mood to be hanging around with 1.5 million other folks and trying to fight for space on the metro train to get down there and things like that. It seemed like it's a lot easier just to watch it at home. But they had a lot of people showing up to cheer on the Astros and all that. Now, as I said, I don't want to alienate everyone. There's a lot of y'all out here maybe fans of teams other than the Astros, which I get. There's a lot of reality TV people I got to be a little careful about as well. Karishma from Survivor lives down here, but she grew up in Philadelphia, so she's a Phillies fan. I met Nick Wilson from Survivor just a couple of weeks ago. He's a huge Phillies fan. Derek Frazier from Big Brother 23, big Phillies fan. And maybe the biggest fan of all, Nick from my season of Big Brother. Nick's a huge fan. I gave Nick a little bit of a hard time before the series started, saying, I hope you enjoyed your run, but it's going to end right here. And he sent something back about, just keep banging those trash cans, Cliff. And so we jawed at each other a little bit, but it was a great series. I love watching it. It was a lot of fun. As I mentioned, I grew up watching baseball. One of my favorite memories as a kid was because back in the day, every game wasn't on TV. We would listen on the radio. And that was just kind of a nighttime thing. I'd listen on the radio right before I went to bed. I remember one night listening in the main room at my house, my dad and my brother and I listening to an away game. The Rangers were playing the Cleveland Indians. Well, Cleveland had two different promotions going on in the same evening. They had 10-cent beer night. It could have been nickel beer night, but I think it's 10-cent beer night for the adults. And for the kids, they were giving away free miniature baseball bats. Well, giving away baseball bats and a lot of almost free beer on the same evening, maybe not the best idea anyone ever came up with. Somewhere there's some marketing person that probably did not do any more marketing type career after that. Because sure enough, halfway through the game, fans started getting a little irritated. I think the Rangers maybe were winning. Next thing you knew, there were a lot of bats getting thrown out on the field, a lot of beer getting thrown out in the field. And before you know it, and of course, we're listening to all this on the radio. Before you know it, the announcers are saying, oh my God, there's people running on the field. They're charging the players with their mini baseball bats. The players are responding back. They're throwing punches. It's a mob overwhelming the field. And my brother and I were just incredulous, trying to picture all of this going on in our heads. And quite the evening, quite the entertainment. For any of you who are just sitting there wondering what you should Google, just because you never know, type in Cleveland Indians, Texas Rangers, 10-cent beer night. And you'll get all kinds of pictures of the fans throwing punches, of the players throwing punches. The players from both teams formed a circle and were holding bats, just like an old wagon train trying to protect themselves. It was incredible. So there you go. I've always been a baseball fan. Now, I played baseball as a kid. I played up through, I don't know, junior high or so. I can't say that I was the superstar player on the team. Batting, I was okay. Fielding, yeah, not so much. I just couldn't gauge those balls if my life depended on it. I wasn't real good at catching fly balls and everything else. Now, I will say as an excuse, it's because of that, just a little bit later, that we discovered that, hey, Cliff actually needs glasses. So, yeah, I've always used that as an excuse that it's not me. I just couldn't see the ball, and there may be something to it. But, yeah, I played baseball for a little while. Finally realized that was a sport that I was much better at watching than actually playing. Now, I will say this. I still play, not so much anymore, but after that, I moved on just to softball and things like that. I remember when I was, I don't know, fairly young in my career, in my 20s, and I volunteered to play on the softball team for the place I worked for, and I was the catcher. And there was a ball getting thrown, just a friendly game of softball. A ball got thrown in, a guy trying to run home. I blocked the plate. He ran into me full speed. I broke my glasses. I busted up my lip. My nose is not broken, but close, bleeding everywhere, just over a casual softball game. It's a little bit like Big Brother. If I'm going to do something, I didn't give it 100%. I almost paid the price. I think I'd just gotten married. I was like, less than a year into marriage, and I did that. And Sharon had a little bit to say about competition and friendly competition versus aggressive competition. But It is what it is. So yeah, it was a fantastic evening or fantastic week watching the World Series and the Astros. Yeah, everybody, it's just so much fun. It's a lot of fun. All right, Mark Taylor saying, all right, yeah, let's talk. I promised I wasn't gonna go all night long with it. Let's talk about the challenge. Mark's saying, do you think the German team has it to win the challenge? They're playing great. For those of you who aren't watching the challenge, I'm sorry, because I'm going to talk about it a little bit this week especially, and there's going to be some spoilers thrown in. So just do this if you need to. Yeah, I don't have a good handle on this German team. Colleen and Kim are, and I can't remember what he was on. Kim, he could have been, I don't know. He's a pretty muscular looking guy. She was on the mole, so she could be a little devious. I think maybe she was the mole even. I don't speak German, so I haven't watched her particular show, but yeah, I think they're playing pretty well. They don't seem to be a huge target from anyone necessarily, but they sure do keep getting put in the elimination arena as well. Being the newbies, being rookies, the vets, every season it seems like the vets in the challenge go after the rookies and try to get them out first, and it's no different this year. So I think Collie and Kim have fought for their lives a couple of times so far. We're only 4 episodes in, so yeah, they've been down there quite a bit. So I don't know. I think I think they'll do okay. I just don't think that 2 people from Germany, that the challenge producers are going to want them to win the whole thing. And that may sound horrible and cynical and everything else. They may do well. I just don't see them winning the whole thing. But if they do, more power to them. They competitive wise, they're doing great. Social game, Colleen is kind of tight with Fessel, right? Fessy. He said he's going by Fessel now, so I'm really trying to honor that request. But she's kind of been tight with him, so she's playing a bit of a social game as well. I've enjoyed the challenge, although, and again, I promised there were going to be spoilers. Mark, yeah, let's follow that. Mark saying, did Tommy and Sis shoot themselves 2 weeks ago? And is that why they didn't win last week? Yeah, absolutely. For those of you who don't know and don't mind a little spoilers on it, Tommy and Sis were afraid or knew they were getting ready to potentially go up for elimination. And so they approached 2 different duos who also were eligible for competing for their lives and promised both of them that if they got safety, they would protect the other team. In other words, they promised safety to 2 different groups. Well, you can only give safety to one group. And sure enough, when it came down to it, Tommy and Sis were the ones who drew a little sword in a stone kind of thing that gave them safety. But it also meant that they had to pick one other duo, one other team to be safe. Well, again, they made promises to both of them. They saved the German team that we were talking about. And as a result, the other team, which was Olivia from Love Island, you talk about someone who's a lot more competitive than I thought. Olivia from Love Island, Horacio, who is a soccer player, professional soccer player, and did a Spanish language course, Ninja Warrior kind of thing. Anyway, did not save them. They were out for blood. They absolutely identified Tommy and Sis as a target as a result of it. They survived, which was not good for Tommy and Sis. And so sure enough, last week, Tommy and Sis just burned their bridges. Once they made promises to too many people, no one in that house thought that they could trust Tommy and Sis anymore. But even more than actual trust, the challenge is a lot like Big Brother, right? In the early part of the season, you don't really need a lot of hatred or anything else to nominate someone, to put someone up for elimination. You just needed an excuse. You just need some kind of justification. And by Tommy and Sis doing what they did, it was easy for everyone, rookies and vets, everyone in the house to say, put them up. Well, you can't trust them. Who wants to work with them going forward? So it made it super easy to put Tommy and Sis on the block. As a result, they ended up competing against the German duo again, Colleen and Kim. Tommy didn't have a chance. Tommy, it was a task that you had to pull a rope, lift the female partner up so she could solve a puzzle. Tommy couldn't pull the rope, which kind of surprises me. I mean, I've been around Tommy. I have seen how incredibly athletic he is at everything he does. He's a Broadway dancer. He's got his legs they're like an NFL running back in a lot of ways. His upper body is pretty, I mean, he works out. He's in good shape. He just he maybe just didn't have the mass to be able to pull on that rope. It was unfortunate. Yeah, I lost my Big Brother teammates to the challenge last week. They're no longer in the house, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I was cheering them on. I did not think they were going to make it to the end, but they're gone. Now, I will say this: Tommy's over in Italy right now with his boyfriend and all that. But I'm going to Hearts of Reality the first part of December, and I think Tommy's going to be there as well. I am ready to get him over in the corner. I am going to ask him so many questions about the challenge and what it was like compared to Big Brother, and I'm getting all the scoop, and hopefully a lot of it I can share it with y'all as well. I want to find out all the details about the challenge and just see what he thought about it. But yeah, I hated to see him go, but I can't say I'm completely surprised. All right, Fitzbit saying, is the oldest contestant of Big Brother 21, how do you think Gabler is representing the older contestants on Survivor? Gabler is the oldest contestant on Survivor. It's funny because you look at him, he almost just, when he's out in the island, strikes me as just a yeah, kind of a, I don't know the right word, just a good old boy, right? There was a guy named Roger who was on Survivor quite a few seasons back, but he was kind of from the backwoods and all that. And there's a lot about Gabler that makes me think that, but he's like a heart valve specialist in the operating room. I mean, there's a whole side to Gabler that we don't see in the TV show Survivor, but Gabler has just been, I don't know. I don't know how Gabler's representing the older folks. During the early part of the season, there were times where he's saying, I'm so hungry. He was barely moving because he was so exhausted, and I could kind of relate to some of that. But the one thing I'm a little bit worried about with Gabler is he really seems to hold a grudge. Maybe he spent a little bit too much time looking backwards instead of looking forwards. Fitzbit saying Gabler's playing the game Frenchie wanted to. Yeah, I could kind of see that. I mean, if Frenchie wanted to come in and just control the whole game and all of that. Now, Frenchie had his own issues of trying to make an alliance with every single person in the house, right? Not all of that was Frenchie's fault, though. We're talking Big Brother 23. Frenchie also got into a bind because there were a lot of people. He had to nominate a lot more people than he originally planned because of safety and all that. Made it tough. I felt for him. I was cheering Frenchie on so much as well. But no, Gabler, sometimes I think he's so worried about Janine and Ellie looking through his bag, and he's still thinking about that. Yeah, at some point you just have to say, whatever, we'll deal with that somewhere down the road. I haven't forgotten, but I'm going to look at bigger targets right now. He hadn't really done that. And as a result, he kind of burned the whole Baca tribe. They could have stayed strong. It's important that you have people that you have support from. And I'm not sure he really has that now. We saw last week, was it Owen? And I can't remember who Owen was talking to, saying, Gabler's part of us, but I'm not sure I really completely trust him. So I'll say this. I don't know from a strategy standpoint that Gabler has done everything correctly that he needs to do. But from an entertainment standpoint, Gabler is a lot of fun to watch because you never know what that guy's going to do from episode to episode. He's been, I know why they picked him. I know why they picked him. I can absolutely see why he was cast to begin with. And yeah, if he's working in a hospital, in an operating room where he's kind of in charge of a lot of stuff, I can see how he likes to maintain control. That would seem to be the kind of career of someone that wants to be kind of the alpha male, control as much as you can. We're kind of seeing that on the island as well. He's not going to back off. He's not going to cater to someone else who's trying to convince him to do something else. He's got his path, and he's going down that path. Fail or succeed, either one. We'll see. Hey, he's fun to watch. We'll see. All right, Ma saying, how did you get your shirt so fast? I always wonder how people get them so quickly. All right, well, first of all, a little secret for you. This is from one of her previous World Series wins. This is back in 2017. So this isn't the most current version. But as soon as the World Series was over with, the Academy stores, which are sports stores here in the Houston area, they already had all the shirts printed up, and they had all the trucks set up outside. As soon as the game looked like it was almost over, they moved it all inside. There were people who were lined up at the stores before the game was even over Sunday night, just so they could be in line to get inside and buy up as much merchandise as was available. They had shirts, hats, everything, everywhere. And this is, I don't know how many Academy stores are in Houston, probably 40 or 50, maybe not that many close, but They were all open 24 hours. They were open all night long, and people were in there all night long. A lot of money being sold, and they had them at the stadium also. They have one just like any stadium. They sell all kind of stuff. Well, they had one section that was open 24 hours, and they sold all of those. So, yeah, they were ready to go. Now, what's funny is I'm sure somewhere up in Philadelphia, they had a whole lot of shirts that were made that all said Philadelphia Phillies World Series champions and all that. It's always been my understanding that a lot of these things, especially like college football national championship games, things like that, they print up shirts for both teams as the winners. Whoever wins, they charge so much for these things that they make their money up. Whoever loses, all those shirts get packed up and sold in bulk per pound rates, put on a boat and sent over to other third world countries and things like that, where people don't really care what the shirt says. They're just happy to have a shirt that'll keep them warm at night. So somewhere in some other part of the world here in another few weeks, you may have all kinds of people running around with shirts that say Philadelphia Phillies 2022 World Series champions, and they won't care. But yeah, somewhere they'll probably have it. Now they have so many people buying so many shirts and merchandise and everything else. That parade this afternoon, just based on how many people were there and how much Astros gear they were wearing, a lot of money been made by sports merchandising folks in this city over the last 24 hours or so. It was incredible. So much fun. It was just a fun watching the whole city celebrate together. Mark saying, what do you think about the knockout in Survivor? Help me out, Mark. I'm trying to remember what the knockout was in Survivor. I don't even remember what the knockout was. I did the recap on it. I can't. I'm trying to remember the term. I just don't even know. So bring me up to speed on that. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Fitzbit saying, did you know if Australia will air? Oh, the Australian challenge will air on Paramount Plus. I thought I saw something on that that it would, but I haven't gone out there and checked. But it seems like maybe that was part of Paramount Plus's advertising. I need to check because I want to see what kind of people compete on the Australian version of the challenge. Is it going to be just like here, where it's primarily people from other reality shows? They've got Big Brother over there. They've got Survivor. They've got Amazing Race too. So you could get those kind of people on the Paramount Plus version of the challenge. That'd be cool. I actually know a few of the people that were on Big Brother Australia because I reached out to a few of them because I watched some of the episodes and just said, hey, Big Brother over here, welcome to the international Big Brother family and all that. So I talked to some of them, and yeah, I don't know. It'd be fun if I go to the challenge Australia and I actually recognize a few people. We watch so much reality TV, Sharon and I. The show we've been watching, and we're just almost done with it, is The Block. It's a show. Apparently, it's the highest rated program in Australia. If any of y'all are watching from Australia, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently it's the highest rated program. It's a bunch of duos, couples that go in. They each take over a house and they renovate an entire house every week. This week you're going to do the kitchen. This week you're going to do the bathrooms. And they have to completely renovate the whole house. Once they do it, they sell it. Whatever is the difference between what the house was worth originally versus what it sells for, they get to keep all the money. And we watch it. It's on like 3 or 4 nights a week. And we're watching all of that stuff, finding it online, channels and things like that. So, yeah, I watch my share of Australian TV. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see if anyone's on the challenge as part of it. All right, let's see. Oh, Brian saying the knockout was each section elicited people until 4 were left. Oh, yeah. And Gabler won. I just didn't recognize the name. That was a fun competition. I really liked it. I got to say, that was a hard competition. Do y'all remember the first part, crawling through those nets? And these were tubular nets. So it's not just going under. You had to crawl through a tube of netting and a mud puddle underneath it, and it's all twisted up. They look like, I don't know if any of y'all have ever made sausage before, but you send it through the pork casing and then you twist the ends. That's what it looked like. I don't know. It looked like a clown that makes the balloon sculptures, how he twists both ends or something. We had some of these contestants that were so wrapped up in that netting, I didn't think they'd ever get them loose. That was hard. It was a lot of hard to that one. But yeah, the knockout, the very end of it, where it was Well, I guess it was a few to start with, but eventually it came down to Gabler and Cody holding on for dear life, holding on to a handle. I gotta give it to Gabler. He is not who I would have picked to have won individual immunity right off the bat like that, but he did it, and he was so much fun. The way every minute Cody was just focused. Cody was just you could tell he was hurting a little bit, and he was just trying to stay focused on holding on to his handle. Gabler, every minute he's dedicating it to someone else. He's dedicated. I thought it was cool. He dedicated it to vets and other people that he's known over the years. He dedicated it to Noelle, who lost her leg, is out there comparing. He dedicated it to his dog at some point. He's just talking away. And I got to think, if I'm on Survivor and I'm one of those people who is just incredibly focused, if you're sitting there gabbing away, it may really irritate you. I remember from Big Brother, there were different people who approached some of these games differently. Mickey from my season, he just wanted to be in the zone. He didn't want to talk about anything. He just wanted to focus on the game, and that was it. And he would get so irritated while we were waiting to start. Lots of times before you start, we're sitting there waiting inside the house for the door to open up so we can go outside and do the competition. And he would just be just ready to go. And he got so irritated that some of the people who were just chatting away and just having fun in the house and laughing and making fun of each other, he would just get over there and say, guys, just stop. It was a little easy to get him worked up if you wanted to sometimes, because he got so concentrated on doing what was ahead, which may be why he won so many competitions, because he certainly was in the zone. But yeah, there were some people in the house that didn't do that. They were just out there every single contest, just doing everything. I was somewhere in the middle. I tried to get myself pumped up a little bit, but I had fun with it as well. So yeah, you got to have fun when you're doing those things, right? How can you be running around in lederhosen doing slip and slides on Crisco and not laugh about it and have a little fun with it, even if you're doing horrible like I did? That's still fun. All right, Ma saying Russell and Sandra were on Survivor Australia, I think. Yeah, they were, and in fact, Sandra also did was it Survivor Australia, where it was her and her daughter did it as well. Sandra's done so many Survivors around the world. She's going to be at Hearts Reality, as is her daughter. So I've met Sandra before. I haven't met her daughters. That'd be kind of cool. Russell, I talked to Russell about Survivor Australia versus Survivor United States before. He was at a viewing party and he and I hung out for a while, and I asked him about that. And Russell said, Survivor Australia isn't really Australia. He didn't give a lot of credit. He said it was easy over there. He said that was all just a TV show over there. He said they even gave you toilet paper when you had to go to the bathroom. There's toilet paper and everything. He said they weren't roughing it. They weren't surviving. It was just all TV over there. So I guess he didn't think that it was really as rough as what some of the Survivor was when he played the game over here. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I know he, of course, I also know that Russell didn't last for a long time when he played Survivor Australia. So that may have tainted his opinion of it just a little bit. You think? Talk about someone who holds some grudges and all. Gabler is not coming off as the villain like Russell did. But there are some similarities I see in the way they're just kind of ready to cut some people loose when they feel like they've used up whatever benefit they are to Gabler or to Russell, either one. I always enjoyed watching Russell. I love watching a villain. I remember before Russell ever even played his first season, we just saw the preview, and I remember watching him throwing someone's sock in the fire, saying, "Yeah, hell, let's see how they compete with only one sock." Just trying to stir stuff up, and it worked. He did pretty well. He never won, but he came pretty dang close. All right, Michelle Moore saying, "Yeah, everyone gets your Powerball ticket. Tonight is a big drawing." Yeah, there you go. There's my Powerball. So I'll say this: if I win Powerball, if come next Monday I'm $1.5 billion richer, we're gonna have some fun. I don't know what we'll do. We're going to ramp this party up just a little bit. Can you imagine? I mean, what? $1.5 billion? I don't know maybe I'd go buy Big Brother. That's probably what I do. I'd go somewhere. I'd build an exact replica of the Big Brother house, and I'd have my own Big Brother contest. I'd just invite people to come in, compete on Big Brother, and we'd replicate everything. CBS would try to shut me down, but when you got $1.5 billion, I feel like I could hire some attorneys to fight it. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Don't come after me, CBS. I'm not gonna do that. I promise. But I don't know. I could have a lot of fun with $1.5 billion. We may be doing the next few Cliff Notes live all together on the cruise ship somewhere, hanging out in the Caribbean or something. Yeah, a man can hope, a man can dream. $500,000 on Big Brother. That seemed like worth taking a chance on and playing the game. $1.5 billion. Yeah, that'll work. Can you imagine winning? I would be so nervous. My hair would turn gray overnight if I won that kind of money, because I would be so paranoid suddenly about this little slip of paper that means absolutely nothing right now. But it's after I won, when suddenly a little sheet of paper is worth that much money, how could you protect it enough? I would not be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to do anything until that ticket was secured. And yeah, the chances of it being me, yeah, right there, right. What they say, it's less than getting hit by lightning. I'll take a lightning strike if it means I get a lottery ticket. But somewhere, one of these drawings is going to be that one person, or maybe two. How horrible if you had to split it. Y'all excited? Yeah, I won $1.5 billion. What? I only won 750 million. Man, I thought I had it made. Oh well. Yeah, I think you'd be okay anyway. Wouldn't that be cool? So many people putting so much money into it. It's crazy, but it's fun. It's fun watching it every single night. I was really hoping that the Astros could win the World Series, and then just the next hour, I'd win $1 billion. That's a pretty nice little way to finish up an evening, right? Yeah, I think it'd be okay. But yeah, if we win, you may not hear immediately, but we're gonna have fun with it. Yeah, we'd have fun. All right. Vicky Stone saying, do y'all have any pets? No, unfortunately, not right now. We had Daisy. Was our dog. We had Daisy while I was inside the Big Brother house. While I got out, unfortunately, earlier this year, back in January, Daisy is getting a little bit older, and so we still don't know exactly what happened. She had something happen. She started wobbling a little bit. I actually was doing my Cliff Notes live, and just getting ready to start the show when we saw she was having some distress. So I did like a 2-minute version of the show, shut it down, rushed her to the hospital. She didn't make it. It was, yeah, we lost Daisy. It was a member of her family. It was a rough evening. It was very difficult. But because of that, no, we don't have any other pets right now. But somewhere down the road, I do have. My son's got a dog, and we're going to be babysitting, pet sitting here coming up. So, yeah, y'all may get a special guest at one of the Cliff Notes live coming up. I'll introduce y'all to Oakley, a very rambunctious dog. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. So, yeah, we're going to do a little pet sitting going forward. But yeah, my family's always been a dog person. I'm not the biggest cat fan. My mom has cats. And so when we go there, I visit with the cats on. But in our family, we're pretty much a dog family. But yeah, right now, loved having her during COVID and all of that. But yeah, unfortunately, we lost her. It was a loss to the family, but life goes on. Brian Hostler saying, best quote from Big Brother 21, never quit. Well, I hope so. I thought the best quote was, as long as you look at me, you'll never see home, or you'll always see home. What? Oh, well, yeah. I wasn't there when that Tommy did his little deal to Christy, but I heard it enough. But yeah, you never quit, right? I know even when I did that slip and slide, once it was over, they were saying, all right, well, Cliff, we got a winner. I said, yeah, but let me finish the competition. If y'all are just up there wrapping stuff up, I mean, when else am I going to get a chance to do something like this? So just let me finish. And at first they said yes. And then when they realized that maybe I wasn't the fastest person doing that particular slip and slide competition, they finally said, yeah, no, Cliff, you're going to have to shut it down. We can't pay these guys to be up here all night long. So they let me go until everyone else had exchanged out their microphones. A lot of those competitions, you had special microphones if you were going to get wet or messy or anything else. So we had to change our microphones before we went inside so they'd be able to record everything, talking, strategy, and all that. So I said, well, let me go last. And they did that. But once it was time for me to do my mic, I had to stop. But Yeah, why would you ever quit on anything in that house? Every single thing that I did in there, I assumed was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I was going to enjoy every single minute of it, every single second of it. And I tried to. Even with that being said, I look back at a lot of times and say, man, why'd I go to bed early? I should have stayed up and talked an extra hour or something to the cameras or to my house guest or something. You got to sleep sometimes, right? But yeah, it seemed like such a long period of time. I was in that house 93 days. It seemed like such a long period of time while I was in that house. But now that I'm out, I think back and think, God, that was only a couple of months I was in there. It was actually a fairly short period of time. And I had so much fun doing it. So yeah, never quit. Not just in Big Brother. Anything you do in life, if you try something and it doesn't work out, and you fail, you don't quite reach the level that you want to. Well, that's all right. I mean, no life's going to be perfect. No one's ever going to succeed at everything they do. So it's okay if you don't make it every once in a while, but don't ever look back and say, if I just tried a little harder, if I hadn't quit, maybe would. Don't ever have that kind of doubt. Give it everything you got. And if you make it great, if not, that's all right. There's no pride or there's no shame in occasionally falling a little bit short. That's what life's all about. So yeah, never quit. Coming from the dad Cliff here, I never quit. Keith Franken saying, hi, Cliff, just joining. Well, Keith, we are waiting just for you. We've been talking a little beforehand, but Keith, if you just join, and for anyone else out there as well, yeah, I do always try to set this up so the not only the video part of each episode shows up, but I always turn it on so the comments over on the side show up as well, because that's what it's all about. Yeah, it's not just me talking; it's comments from y'all as well, and so it's so much more fun when I can respond to y'all's questions and comments and everything else. So let's see. What else do we have going? I give you a little thing. Here's my notes. I take all kinds of notes of things I'm going to talk about, comments from y'all, plus little stories and all of that. And every time I do it, I always end up with so much stuff that I never even had a chance to talk about, just because, partially because y'all ask really good questions, partially because those of you who watch me a while know that never let a 15-second answer last 15 seconds if you can stretch it out to 3 or 4 minutes, right? I always can add a little extra to it when I need to. Keith saying it's my birthday next week. Well, happy birthday in advance, Keith. I hope you have a fantastic celebration. Enjoy every single bit of it. So happy birthday to you, my friend. Mine's over in April, so I got a little while before my birthday pops back around. All right, let me throw out a couple things while I'm thinking of it that I almost forgot. First of all, give kids the world, Hearts of Reality. I mentioned to y'all before that I did that last year. I'm doing it again this year. It's so much fun. First of all, it's cool hanging out and meeting a lot of reality TV folks that I've either met before or new ones. This year, who am I looking for? Saying Rachel and Brendan from Big Brother are going to be there. Yao Man from Survivor is going to be there. Tina Wesson is going to be from Survivor Australia. God, it's so long ago. Going to be there. Jerry Matheny from Survivor Australia, old school, and Heroes versus Villains. I think that's what they called it back then. She's going to be there. So some of the old school Survivor people, some of the Big Brother folks are going to be at this thing. Now, just so y'all know, this is in Orlando. Anyone can go to Hearts of Reality. If you go out and do a search for Hearts of Reality, you can find the event itself. I think it's December 8th through 11th, something like that. Anyone can go. You can buy different kinds of tickets. I think there's one ticket just to meet everyone and get autographs signed, things like that. There's another one. We always have a party that people can just go hang out and, chat and get all the inside scoop from everyone. So there's different tickets you can purchase and all that. And again, that's open to anyone. So especially if you're over in Orlando or you just got air miles that you feel like using to get over there, check out Hearts of Reality. It's a lot of fun. It's great. But I wanted to mention something a little more specific to myself and to my fundraising. I did, and Cindy Heyer can verify because we did a Zoom call together. It was so much fun. I don't know how long we talked. Cindy and I talked for a while, but I've got a Zoom call going on right now on eBay. That it's a 30-minute. They started off with 15 minutes. I said, you can't be 15 minutes. I barely get started with that. So it's a 30-minute Zoom call talk about Big Brother, talk about casting, talk about basically whatever anyone wants to talk about. But I'm auctioning off a Zoom call. If you go out to, and it's raising money, 100% of the proceeds go to Hearts of Reality to Give Kids a World Village. And that's what Hearts of Reality supports. Give Kids a World Village. It's a facility in Orlando. Critically ill children and their families get to go stay at this village and see the theme parks around Orlando. But also there's all kinds of cool stuff in this village itself. One of the most cool things they have, I think it's 24 hours. They've got an ice cream parlor there. No kid ever gets told no at this ice cream parlor. You show up for breakfast, much ice cream as you want with every kind of topping you could imagine. I spent a little time in the ice cream parlor when I was over there visiting, hanging out with some of the kids that were there eating and seeing who could put away more different types of ice cream. Anyway, it's a cool place to hang out, the village itself. So that's what this fundraiser benefits is the village itself, and it's such an incredibly worthy group. So, having said all that, if you or if some family member would just like to get the inside scoop on Big Brother, you can go out to eBay. There's a link in my Instagram profile, and I'll put one on here as well. But the easiest thing is probably just go out to eBay, search for Cliff Hog, and it'll pop right up. I think there's a couple of days left in the auction is all. But yeah, go out there and take a look if you would. And if you got someone that wants to talk to me a little bit more than even this show, a little one-on-one time, I said 30 minutes. We'll probably go a little longer than that as well. But I appreciate it in advance because it is such a worthwhile cause. So it's cool to see everyone there, but it's also incredibly cool to know that everyone there is raising money for a common cause. And then you see the kids. And even more than seeing the kids, when you see the parents that are smiling because suddenly they're kids who have been through so much medical and procedures and hospitals, and now they're just getting a chance to just be regular kids and they're having fun. But then you see the parents smiling because they know their kids are having fun. That's where it kind of hits me right here. So if you get a chance, go out to eBay and check that out as well. Let's see, what is it? Jace Theme Park Show. All right, Jason, that's kind of a interesting little ID. Howdy, hello. But when I see theme park, I immediately think of my days working at Six Flags Over Texas. I had so much fun working. I think I've told y'all this before. I worked at Six Flags Over Texas. Todrick from Celebrity Big Brother worked at Six Flags Over Texas, where he danced. I sold souvenirs and did things like that. So different ideas of how we worked at the park, but we were right across the street from each other. That's kind of cool. Who knows where life and destiny can lead you when you're doing stuff like that, wherever you work. I had so much fun as a teenager working there. Amanda Lowe saying, did y'all get to control the thermostat in the Big Brother house? I wish. No, we didn't, Amanda. And it was incredibly frustrating because I had been told before I came in the house to make sure that you've got a lot of clothing, that it gets kind of cold in the house because all these lights can get hot. So they really keep the thermostat turned way down so it can be a little chilly in there. So make sure you're prepared. So I had all kinds of hoodies and jackets and things like that. I got in that house and it was so hot because of the lights and everything, I guess. And so I remember at night trying to sleep. And first of all, the lights are on. You can't control the thermostat and you can't control the lights. So I'm laying there in bed, just hot, and the lights are in my eyes. And it was just kind of brutal. Now, there are times where I'd sit there in bed and I'd say, man, Big Brother, it is so hot in here. Can y'all just turn the thermostat down? Just a couple of degrees, if you don't mind. And every once in a while, it seems like it would get cooler. So maybe they were listening to me. Maybe it's just me eventually adjusting. Well, we don't know. I do think, though, the conspiracy theory, Kat wasn't the only one with conspiracy theories. My conspiracy theory was that as we got into the very last month of the season, as we got into September, I think Big Brother turned down the thermostat to make it colder in there because suddenly it felt cold. Suddenly we were all wearing more clothing, hoodies, and everything else. There are people in my seasons like Nick. He never wore a shirt the whole time he was in the house. He just didn't wear shirts. Now, he told me before he did that so that it was easy to go into the diary room. He never had to try to put on a specific shirt. He just go in there with whatever. But towards the end, it got really cold in that house. And I think they did that on purpose so that we would put on more clothing and it would look more like fall was approaching because, September, real world, and all of that. I think they wanted the house to kind of reflect that summer was over as we got towards the end. And if you look at other Big Brother seasons since then, 22, 23, 24, I see the same thing. Every season, you get to the last few weeks and people are starting to wear more clothes. So that's my conspiracy theory, is that they actually get a little colder in there just so you'll change what you're wearing. But no, that's the long answer. The short answer, Amanda, is there's no thermostat in there. There's no light switches. If they're either on or off, the only place that you get to control the lights is up in the HOH room. If you're HOH, there is a light switch that you can turn the lights on or off within reason. You can turn the lights off when you're ready to go to bed. Once it's time to wake up, they make you turn that light switch on. You can't leave it off at 2:00 in the afternoon, unless you're Big Brother 24. Now I feel like they let them sleep whenever, as much as they wanted. But yeah, that's the only light switch, and there's no thermostat control in there whatsoever. And it got hot. Coming from a Texas guy, it still got hot. All right, Ma saying Ma has to go. All right, well, Ma, I hope you feel better. Just drink plenty of orange juice, get some chicken noodle soup, and pull the covers up to your chin, stay in bed, and just don't get around anyone else. Let's nip it in the bud. How about that? Yeah, but I do hope you're feeling better. Vicky Stone saying, have you voted? All right, yeah, let's talk. So much going on. We had the World Series. We've got all the reality TV. And tomorrow we've got an election. And here's what, for those of you who are old enough to vote, for those of you who aren't old enough, your time will come. And that doesn't mean that you can't still get involved in the issues and learn as much as you can, because you got to be educated before you go in and make a vote. So get ready. But for those of you who are old enough, I don't care which way you vote. I truly don't. It's enough just to voice your opinion, letting your voice be heard. Go vote. Yes, we already voted. We did early voting here in Texas. We went on Thursday, I think, and showed up. It's actually pretty quick. We had to wait maybe 15, 20 minutes or so. Here in Texas, all our judges, you have to elect. So they aren't appointed in the state, which meant there were like 130 elections involving criminal court judges, family court judges, civil courts, every kind of judge that you could possibly imagine was up for election. And so I had tried to do a real quick run through and figure out, everything. But yeah, there were a lot of things to vote on. But I've always taken voting very incredibly seriously, because if you aren't willing to vote, then you really don't have a lot of position to complain, right? That's the strongest weapon. I like the quote. I think it came from Thomas Jefferson, but some other people have used it since then, saying the people shouldn't fear the government should fear the people. And the only way the government fears the people is if we let our voices be heard and we let them know what our opinion is, and they sure as heck better base their decisions on our opinions to some degree, right? So yeah, go vote. I don't want to start waving the flag too much and all of that, but I do think it's more than just a privilege or right. I think it's a duty that you need to contribute, participate in the democratic process. So if you haven't done so already, tomorrow's your day. And again, I don't care how you vote, just make sure your voice is heard. All right, Brian is saying, thank you. Posted the link to my eBay auction. Thank you, sir. I should have done it ahead of time and just forgot all about it. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. And then, so yeah, y'all go out and take a look. And I always appreciate that. It's such a I can't say enough about that charity. That's one of the most fun things about having done Big Brother, is that suddenly now my voice really shouldn't carry any more weight than anyone else's. But in this day and age, social media and everything, it does to some degree. And so when I get a chance to do something that I can see the benefit right off the bat, it's always cool. I can't imagine coming out of something like Big Brother and not wanting to do what you could to help other folks out. And 80% of the people do. 20%, they're the Grinches. Maybe they got other things going on. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, take advantage of this and do what you can to help out. You got to, right? Samantha saying, if you don't vote, all right, yeah, you need to vote. Yeah, if you don't vote, you can't complain. All right, what else do we have going on here? It's 7:51. It's pretty quick. Mark's saying, did you pass out a lot of candy? Yeah, we had. Now I did my show. I was worried about that, but fortunately, most of the people who came by after I got done with the show itself. And yeah, we had our little. As someone's, we did it early. People came by early. I did my show, and then we had people come by a little bit afterwards as well. I did not hand out full size candy bars as someone asked last week. Man, there's no way I'm gonna do that. But we had our little trial size, snack size Snickers and M&M packets and all that, and we handed out a lot. I held the candy corns off to the very end. Kids want chocolate before candy corn, right? Which was fine with me. I'll put a dent into that bucket of candy corn. So yeah, we had a lot of folks come by. Maybe not as much as some other years, but it's always fun watching everyone showing up in their costumes and all of that. It was yeah, I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays, just because everyone can have fun. It doesn't matter your age or anything. Everyone can be a kid and dress up and act silly. And y'all saw me last week dressed up like the Power. You know, it's just a fun time to act a little silly. And you gotta be, yeah, everyone has to be a little silly here and there in life, or else it just gets kind of boring. Marilyn said, I voted early on Saturday, so I did my duty. Marilyn, congratulations, my friend. That's what I want to hear. All right, what else do we have? We don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna throw something out there, just because when else would I have the opportunity to throw out this little bit of trivia on this day in history? Remember how I said I have all these notes and I never get around to? Right off the bat, I always do this day in history. I forgot to do it this time, or I just didn't have time. On this day in history, 1917, so 105 years ago, Russia, or I guess it's Soviet Union at that time, is taken over by the communists, led by Vladimir Lenin. And we start off with the Cold War soon after. I guess it took a while to get going, but we started off with communism in Russia way back then. And why do I mention that? I mention it. It's funny how things go in circles and all that. Now suddenly they're fighting Ukraine, all that. But it just made me think about when I traveled to Moscow, how strange it was, the history of the Soviet Union, the Cold War between them and the United States. And I spent time over in Russia working in oil and gas, stayed at a hotel, did not realize that I was basically right next door to the old KGB headquarters. Huge, imposing building. And I walked by there, and just looking at it, I knew there was something special about the building. I didn't realize until later that it was a KGB building. It's where all the spies got trained and everything for them. It's also where they took a lot of people that were never seen again. So kind of a dark area as well. But I never forget just being there, being right in Red Square, looking up at the Kremlin and seeing all that, and being American, just walking around, seeing all the sights and everything else. I had a buddy who had an apartment there because he lived in Moscow, and it was right across from the Kremlin. And when he purchased the property, he didn't purchase it. When he leased the property, they told him that this was a very old building, that it had been used by the members of the Politburo, by the Russian head people, as one of their apartments. So some of those people had lived there, decades earlier. And he was warned, they said, because of that, the elevator that takes you up to this floor, they said, don't ever try to stick your hand in this elevator to stop it in case it's closing on you or anything like that. They say, if you stick your hand or your arm in this elevator, it's going to cut it off. Because, as I found out later, this elevator had bulletproof, explosion-proof front doors, would close on absolutely anything, would close super fast when you push the button. So you had to be very careful. But it was because this was a government official who had been staying in this place, and they wanted to make sure if there was ever any kind of coup or attack or assassination attempt or anything like that, that they couldn't just take over the place through the elevator itself. So every time I would visit him, he'd say, watch out for the elevator. Don't stick your hand in there. As soon as the door opens, get out, because it closes real fast. What kind of history is that? How cool is that, that I was actually sitting there and in a place that 50 years before had been controlled by Nikita Khrushchev or some former leader of Russia. And then here I am just hanging out and, saying, oh, it's pretty cool. So anyway, this day in history. It's amazing how you get exposed to history here and there over the years. And that's one of my highlights that, I guess I've been around for enough. We had Russia's enemies and it got better. Maybe it's not so much now, but I got to go hang out and see all the sites that Earlier, they wouldn't have let me in. If they had, there'd been 10 people tailing me the whole. There may have still been people following me around that I didn't even notice. But hey, I was on Big Brother. I'm used to having no privacy. So in Russia, no one has privacy. That was my practice run. All right, guys. I just thought I'd throw that out there because when else am I going to get to talk about it? All right, guys, we're going to shut down because it's 7:57. We're right about that time. So welcome to November. I hope y'all had a fantastic weekend. It's dark. It's cold. Beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I'm not allowed to say that before Thanksgiving, am I? But it seems like people are already getting ready for it. Have not heard Mariah Carey yet, but I bet I do within the next week or so because no one waits as long as they should. Y'all have a fantastic week, guys. I am going to be dropping another recap of the challenge and of Survivor. So again, if you haven't already gone out and subscribed, please do so and turn on the notifications. And then you'll know as soon as I drop those episodes as well. But until next Monday, guys, y'all have a fantastic one. Stay safe. Wash your hands so you don't end up a situation like Ma because someone else didn't wash their hands. So yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. I will see y'all next Monday. Until then, SKD 143. Guys, y'all have a great one. Cheers, my friends.